Acting President Yemi Osinbajo reiterates government's commitment to fully develop Niger Delta. In pursuit of job creation platforms, Presidential Amnesty Program forms expansive alliances. Sports deployment as veritable tool for peace and youth engagement, plus tidbits and more. Hello and welcome to Reintegration 30,000, a series on the activities of the Presidential Amnesty Program for ex-agitators from the Niger Delta region. Just before I go ahead to give a quick synopsis of the Amnesty Program, let's note that the implementation of the initiative is domiciled in the Office of the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta, Brigadier General Paul Tarila Boro, who doubles as coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program. The Presidential Amnesty Program is a structured disarmament, demobilization, and reintegration initiative instituted after the declaration of amnesty by late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua for repentant militants in the Niger Delta in 2009. It was aimed at constructively resolving the conflicts in the Niger Delta region, which arose from perceived insensitivity of governments in the past. The program, as a mechanism for conflict resolution, has provided a platform to deepen engagements in the Niger Delta region. Over the years, the program, which has a total of 30,000 delegates, has continued to adapt and refine its implementation processes in line with global best practices. As a result of this, Nigeria is today rated as one of the countries with an efficient and effective DDR program. The successes of the program are the outcomes of the resolve by stakeholders to collectively build common grounds in the face of daunting challenges. In fact, the achievements of these illustrious amnesty delegates have given the nation reasons to rejoice. Over the coming weeks, we intend to make the viewer quite knowledgeable on the generic impact of the amnesty program, while we also focus on certain specifics which have seen former agitators transform from militancy to responsible and valuable citizens of Nigeria. Indeed, a major part of why we are here is to inform Nigerians that the amnesty program is working and it's on course, thus reflecting the decision of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari to extend the program beyond its initial deadline of December 2015. Let's get the ball rolling with a segment that brings you an account that typifies the transformative agenda of the Presidential Amnesty Program. This may seem overtly much, but it is exciting to have you join us on this maiden edition as we bring you accounts of activities of the Presidential Amnesty Office and how this initiative has impacted on peace, stability, and skills development in the Niger Delta region. There is no better way to tell this story other than have you watch and hear from those directly affected and impacted.
I'm Emmanuel Onajomo Akore. This is Caliber Fish Farms. You're seeing what we're coming. I have good broodstock, fingerlings, juveniles, hetero, clearance, and hybrid catfish. We even stock tilapia and other species of fish. we're good at what we do. Fish is our main thing. I led a delegation of about 32 people to Israel, and who were actually trained by Galilee College. From there, I had this urge to actually practice what I was trained to do, because we were really trained. I want to commend the federal government for doing that. It's a noble idea. I stopped here 5,000. I'm not expecting 5,000 out of it. This tank is full of hybrid juvenile catfish. We have this in stock, and we have also good grade, because we feed well and make sure our water quality is very high. That's what we do at Caliber Farms. It's encouraging to know that Papa when send this pikin go school, the pikin don't come, he encourage them to do more. It's good enough. You send me to school, I'm back and I gave you my certificate. There's nothing you could do or say. Okay, boy, you're back. Okay, see what you do with this. Get started. It's something else. You understand? Even a pat on the back for a good job done. The 32 of us that went to Israel, I had to send one back. He was misbehaving. So, I still call on them, those of us that were there, don't let this money spent or this time go wasted. From nothing, get something. That's the idea. That was why we were sent to Israel in the first place. I've always said, okay, after God, now government don't do for me too, but make them do for others. So that if most of the ex-militants are like what you're saying today, there will not be Niger Delta Avengers. Who won't call me, make her go creek now, go full and do it now. Go follow you carry with gun. When I don't feed them finish. I mean, you know, why? I have an extension now that I want to actually do. Some of the limitations here will be corrected over there. And so far so good. What I see as my handicap is the cost of feed. You know, I can't meet the market. There's always market for fish, but the cost of feeding the fish is too high. Cost of labor and cost of equipment is high.
Emmanuel Akohe truly represents the transformative agenda of the Presidential Amnesty Program. For the avoidance of doubt, let me clarify that the core mandate of the Presidential Amnesty Program is to fast-track the reintegration of the 30,000 youth captured by the program back into civil life. This translates to specific efforts by the office to engage delegates in trainings, both formal and informal, covering diverse professional careers and vocations. In the past few years, thousands have been successfully trained and are currently engaged in the practice of their chosen professions. We have a segment that explores the training of a particular field and gives insight into what has been achieved in terms of skills and human capital development. This week, the agriculture sector is our focus on Insight. Agriculture is an area that has remained of utmost importance to the Presidential Amnesty Office. This is in line with the presidential initiative on exploring available potentials in the sector to grow the national economy.
Before now, we've deployed delegates in various skills, construction, fashion, catering, all of those, but the trend of the present government, we realize that they're trying to develop non-oil producing sectors, and the focus is on agriculture. We work for the government, so it's only right for us to key into their focus, and that's why we're keen on agriculture as a field. Now, agriculture as a full value chain, not to just train and leave them hanging, because if you leave them, they become idle and they go back to the creeks. So we train and we empower immediately. That's what we're presently doing.
The Amnesty Office is therefore vigorously pursuing partnerships with relevant agro-allied groups to, among other things, encourage the youth of the Niger Delta to embrace commercial agriculture. Some of the key partners include the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and the National Biotechnology Development Center.
Right now, we see delegates calling in to say, I want agriculture, and we have a caseload of these delegates. Once we see their interest in agriculture, we list them down, and once we have an opening, we deploy them into that particular training center. Right now, across the Niger Delta, in Ondo, Imo, Abia, Cross River, River State Delta, Edo, we have a number of delegates. Presently, we have about 801 as we speak in training across these states in different fields of agriculture. We have in poultry, we have in fish farming, we have some doing cash crop production. Like, for example, the cassava, where we deploy delegates for cassava, they do both the cassava farming, the processing, the packaging, the market, so that way it goes all through, not just processing and then you're stuck with a market. So we engage off-takers to mop up these products from the delegates around. Once we attach them to a center, we engage off-takers so that they mop up everything, and that way sales are going on and the delegates are happy.
Delegates have been empowered by the office to begin fishery, poultry and crop farming, while thousands of delegates yet to be trained are now being deployed into agriculture. To further shed light on the numerous efforts of the Presidential Amnesty Program, I have joining me on our guest platform, Talking Point, the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and Coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much, Stella.
You were given the task to give direction to the Amnesty Program upon the inception of President Buhari's administration in 2015. What did you consider either as priority or priorities at the time, and how has that brought you to where the program currently stands?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, on appreciation of the Presidential Amnesty Program, I give a lot of gratitude to Mr. President for sustenance of the program, because as it were, the program is to ensure that there is peace, stability, to allow for development in Niger Delta region. Now, focusing on the program, even though it started 2009, that was when the amnesty actually was proclaimed for 30,000 ex-agitators. And they were supposed to have been reintegrated into the system after disarmament and demobilization. But as at August 2015, the 30,000 ex-agitators were still in the program. So I had to double my effort to ensure that these 30,000 ex-agitators are given quality training, skills empowerment programs, entrepreneurship, so that they can be effectively and sustainably reintegrated back into the society.
How much so has the efforts of the Presidential Amnesty Program helped in quelling militancy in the Niger Delta, and what is the office consistently doing to deter youth from returning to nefarious practices like pipeline vandalism and kidnapping?
Thank you very much. The program is focusing on platforms that will create job opportunities so that the ex-agitators will be gainfully engaged. And how do I mean by this? I've created a platform for engaging like 3,000 ex-agitators in the area of agriculture as an alternative to revamp the economy of the country, to achieve massive job creation, to ensure food is in abundance in the country, and to enhance their education, their economic stance. I think agriculture is for now the best alternative that the entire country, Nigeria, should focus on because of the long-time focus on oil as a means of development. Now, the agric we're talking about in Niger Delta, with these 3,000 ex-agitators have been trained, they have the capacity to employ 3 times 4,000 workers, because each agitator having a land square of about 1 kilometer, 1 hectare of land, has the capacity to create job opportunities for 4 persons. So when I'm talking about 3,000, it's times 3 that's the number that jobs can be created. So we're talking of 12,000 jobs can be created within the span of about 6 months when the land will be developed for usage.
Please talk some more about the successes of the program in terms of human capital development and how the region is gradually transforming as a result of government's investment in this regard.
So sports is another area we're focusing on, and we're capturing the youth across the Niger Delta region and the ex-agitators who have that skill of sport generally, inclusive of soccer, swimming, weightlifting, track events. Automobile is another area we're looking at again. Automobile will also create massive job employments in the Niger Delta region because by the end of September, we'll be having 400 beneficiaries of the Presidential Amnesty Program whose capacity has been developed in the area of automobile engineering. So a lot of them will be properly engaged, and this will achieve peace, stability, and development in Niger Delta region.
Once again, thank you for coming on the show.
Okay.
Brigadier General Boru is the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and Coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Time now for some quick news update. This is coming in a recap. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has reaffirmed the commitment of the federal government to pursue an integrated approach that would fast-track the overall development of the Niger Delta region. This is coming on the heels of the acting president's official visit to Cross River State in continuation of his peace advocacy tour of the Niger Delta. Professor Simbajo said the government of President Muhammadu Buhari is willing and fully committed to confront and tackle the over 60-year peculiar development challenges of the Niger Delta and oil production.
I think it is important for us to bear in mind that every bit of what we are trying to do for this nation and in this nation must involve some time, must involve some trouble. Nothing is easy except promises. We must ensure that we are patient to see the fulfillment and the fruition of all of the various plans and all of the various promises that we have made. I want to urge you to be as patient as possible, because there is on our part not just a commitment, but we sincerely want to do everything that we have purposed and we have planned to do for this state and for all other states of the Federation of Nigeria.
A first tranche of 100 delegates from a designated total number of 1,000 have been deployed by the Presidential Amnesty Office for training at the International Institute of Tourism and Hospitality in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. The training is projected to explore the diverse business opportunities inherent in the rich cultural heritage of African societies, while particularly emphasizing the peculiarity of the Niger Delta ecosystem for tourism. The Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, who officially flagged off the exercise, described the training as a good example of applying homegrown technique to expand the knowledge base of youth in the region and develop skills capable of improving their lives and the local economy.
The aim of the Presidential Amnesty Program for now is to ensure that the youth of the Niger Delta region are adequately trained and equipped to compete with their counterparts from other parts of the world. This is because we believe that youth from the Niger Delta are equally talented and gifted as such. If given the right platform and enabling environment, they can definitely do exploits.
Let me use this medium to also thank President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, for appointing an illustrious son of Bayelsa State to oversee the Presidential Amnesty Program. We want to also appreciate the effort of Brigadier General Paul T. Boro, retired, for facilitating the process of the deployment of delegates, being the first time in Bayelsa State that we are hosting this program.
Meanwhile, the presidential aide, Brigadier General Paul Boro, has called for an increase in youth economic empowerment initiatives in the Niger Delta. General Boro made the call shortly after commissioning some fish farms and commodity shops in Okrika, Rivers State, designed as business startup kits for 40 ex-agitators who recently concluded their vocational training under the Presidential Amnesty Program. He revealed that thousands of delegates have already been empowered with startup kits to open new businesses, which are duly registered at the Corporate Affairs Commission (CAC), and that more will be empowered in 2017. And finally, the federal government, through the Presidential Amnesty Program, has commenced a new youth engagement and development initiative for youths in the Niger Delta region through sporting activities. Tagged Amnesty Sports for Peace Initiative, the program is in partnership with Siawon Soccer Academy, a sports academy run and managed by ex-Super Eagles player and coach Samson Siasia. The partnership, which draws youths from states in the Niger Delta, is intended to use sports as a positive tool to achieve peace and shun criminality and other vices in the area. Well, this is it for this episode. For comments, reactions, and inputs, please take advantage of our different social media platforms to make your contributions. Remember to join us same time next week as we bring you more on the activities of the Presidential Amnesty Program. Also, do remember that amnesty works. I am Stella Inameti.